Hello everybody, welcome back to Points in Miles 101, a 10-part crash course series to help you better understand the basics of the Points in Miles game. Over the course of the last 3 videos, we have laid some groundwork, becoming familiar with the major US airline loyalty programs, understanding how many of the world's major airlines are connected via the alliances, and learning about the primary hotel loyalty programs. Now it is time to build off of that foundation and get to the good stuff. One of the most important pieces to the Points in Miles puzzle is today's topic: transferable points. Transferable points are a relatively straightforward concept to understand. These are points that are earned through third-party credit card issuers by means of credit card spending. Once accrued, you can transfer these points directly to your choice loyalty programs to be converted into their own Points in Miles currencies. Whether they be airline programs or hotel programs, each credit card issuer has different loyalty programs that they partner with that their customers can elect to send their points to. There are a total of 6 main credit card issuers that facilitate transferable points programs: American Express, Chase, Citi, Capital One, Bilt, and Wells Fargo. Points with these issuers are earned by way of credit card spend using the credit cards that are eligible to earn these points. This is an important distinction to make. For example, not every credit card that Chase issues earns these points, but they do have a portfolio of cards that do. At the minimum, you will earn 1 point for every dollar spent with your card, and then depending on the card that you have, you can earn bonus points for certain categories of spending, like dining or grocery shopping. Now, this video is not going to be exploring all of the different kinds of cards that earn these points. That will be coming in the next video in this series. For now, we'll focus on the 6 issuers and explore who their transfer partners are. Keep in mind this information is as of the time of recording, which is November 2024, so this could certainly change by the time that you watch this. First, we will take a look at Chase, whose points are called Ultimate Rewards points. Their airline partners include the likes of United, Southwest, and JetBlue here in the US, as well as some other well-known airlines like Air Canada and British Airways. And they also partner with 3 hotel programs in IHG, Marriott, and Hyatt. Next, we'll take a look at American Express, whose points are called Membership Rewards points. They have a list of a whopping 18 airline partners, which include the likes of Delta, Hawaiian, and JetBlue here in the US, as well as some other big name brands like Air Canada, British Airways, Emirates, and Virgin Atlantic, among others. In terms of the big 4 hotel loyalty programs, they partner with Marriott and Hilton. Up next, we'll look at Citi, whose points are called Thank You points. The only airline in the US that they partner with is JetBlue, but they do have some other pretty well-known airline partners like Air France and KLM, Emirates, Qatar Airways, Singapore Airlines, and Virgin Atlantic. Unfortunately, Citi does not partner with any of the big 4 hotel loyalty programs. Next, we'll take a look at Capital One, whose points are actually just called Capital One miles. They actually don't partner with any of the US airlines, but they do still have some good airline partners, which include Air Canada, Air France and KLM, British Airways, and Singapore Airlines, among others. And unfortunately, as is the case with Citi, Capital One also does not partner with any of the big 4 hotel programs. A relative newcomer to this space is Bilt, whose points are called Bilt Rewards points, and they have a powerhouse lineup of transfer partners. Their airline partners include Alaska and United here in the US, as well as some other big name brands like Air Canada, Air France and KLM, and British Airways. And they are the only issuer to partner with all 4 of the major hotel programs in Marriott, Hyatt, Hilton, and IHG. And finally, we have Wells Fargo, whose points are called Wells Fargo Rewards points. They are the newest player in the space and therefore have the shortest list of transfer partners, although they do still partner with some good programs. Their list of airline partners include Aer Lingus, Air France and KLM, Avianca, British Airways, Iberia, and Virgin Atlantic. However, Wells Fargo, as of yet, does not partner with any of the big 4 hotel programs. As time goes on, you will realize that not all of these transfer partners are created equal. There are a ton of options to choose from. However, some are used fairly frequently and others are hardly ever used at all. You will become familiar with what are generally regarded as the better programs when we talk about redeeming our points and miles later down the road in this series. Regardless, you can certainly see there are so many different ways that you can use your transferable points currencies. They really are the most valuable asset that you can have in your arsenal if you want to become a pro at this game. First and foremost, the main reason why these points are so valuable is the flexibility with what you can do with them. Say you're looking to go on a weekend trip with some friends to Denver and you have a stash of 60,000 chase points. You can send 10,000 points to your United account to top off your balance and book your flight with miles. You can send 36,000 points to an empty Hyatt account to book 3 nights at the Grand Hyatt and still have 14,000 points left over for future use. The possibilities of use for these points truly are endless. Not only do you have the ability to transfer these points to a variety of different partners, but oftentimes these issuers will run transfer bonuses where you can get even more value out of the points that you transfer. These transfer bonuses can range from 15, 20, sometimes all the way up to 100%. What this means is instead of having a standard 1-to-1 transfer ratio like you normally would, these points would yield you a higher amount once they're transferred over. So for example, if Chase is running a 20% transfer bonus with Air Canada, transferring 10,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points would yield you 12,000 Aeroplan points as opposed to the 10,000 that you would normally get on a standard transfer. These bonuses are rotational and sporadic, so staying on top of them is a surefire way to maximize the value of your points. Now you may be wondering, why would you ever utilize these seemingly random transfer partners? Wouldn't you just transfer to the programs that you already use? Be careful not to box yourself in here. Remember back in episode 3 when we talked about how so many of the world's airlines are connected via the alliances and their partnerships? There is a reason why I harp on this so much, and it really comes into play when we start talking about transferable points. You may be surprised to know that not all redemptions are created equal. Take a look at this United flight from San Francisco to Auckland. As a United flyer, you will likely just search this on United, see the redemption prices, and think those are your options. But take a look at this same exact flight on Air Canada's website, one of United's Star Alliance partners. Redemptions are 5,000 miles cheaper in economy and a whopping 25,000 miles cheaper in business class. As a United flyer, you may think that earning Chase Ultimate Rewards points makes sense because you could transfer those to United. But you can also transfer those to Air Canada, which gives you the opportunity to take advantage of this pricing discrepancy and save yourself up to 25,000 points. Now, this is not going to be the case for every single redemption. Of course, there will be times when United has cheaper options than Air Canada does. So collecting transferable points gives you the ultimate flexibility in being able to take advantage of these pricing discrepancies and sweet spots. Now let's take this one step further. Some airlines severely limit or downright restrict award space to their partners, which means if you're only utilizing one program to book your award tickets, you may be closing yourself off to some amazing value elsewhere. Take for example, Singapore Airlines, one of the world's most renowned airlines, known for their pristine premium cabin experiences such as the first class suites on their A380, are also known for being extremely restrictive in releasing award space on these premium cabin seats to their partners. Most long-haul premium cabin seats on Singapore Airlines can only be booked through their website. So as a United loyalist, you may be disappointed to find out that even though they're partners, you typically can't book those seats with your United miles. But not to worry, because after watching this video, you'll know that earning transferable points is a way to get around this. Because guess what? Singapore just so happens to partner with 4 of those 6 issuers that we were talking about earlier. So no matter which of these transferable points currencies you earn, as long as you create a free Singapore Airlines account, you will always have de facto access to booking these highly sought after Singapore seats with your points. And finally, one more reason why transferable points are so valuable is that it helps you hedge against any future mileage devaluations. What does this mean? Well, in basic terms, there's really nothing stopping an airline from deciding tomorrow that they want to increase the amount of miles it takes to book an award ticket. Today, that ticket may cost you 30,000 miles, but tomorrow the airline could decide that they're raising the redemption prices across the board on all flights by 10,000 miles. In this case, if you have a bunch of miles with that airline, those miles just lost significant value because it now costs 33% more in miles to buy this ticket than it did when you first accrued those miles. But just because one airline does this doesn't mean the others will too. If United announces these types of increases, it doesn't mean that their partners like Air Canada or Avianca made any changes to their redemption prices. So in theory, you would still be able to utilize these programs for lower redemption costs and retain the value of your points that would have otherwise been lost with United's devaluation. Now, that isn't to say that it's a bad thing to stash your miles with an airline. After all, if you are a United flyer, you will accrue United miles every time you fly with them. Like we mentioned back in episode 2, it is typically best practice to fly one airline as much as you can, so you can pool those miles together a lot faster. But as you accrue your transferable points aside from your choice airlines miles, you're naturally diversifying your points and miles currencies and allowing yourself a safeguard against any major changes these programs may make as time goes on. Another thing to note here that I haven't mentioned yet is that the transfer of points from the issuer to the partner is one way. You cannot send them back. So preemptively transferring your points to a partner could come back to bite you if that partner comes out with an unannounced devaluation before you can actually redeem those points. That's why I would always recommend not transferring your points until you're ready to book, whether that's a flight or a hotel. Think of these points as being in a safety bubble. The longer they reside outside of this bubble, the higher the risk that they become less valuable at some point down the road. Wow, I could talk about this topic all day, as I'm sure you can tell. But for now, that should give you a good idea of what transferable points are and why they are so valuable. As I mentioned earlier, in our next video, we will continue this discussion on transferable points and take a look at all of the different credit cards that can earn them. Anyways, that all being said, this officially marks the halfway point of this series, and I certainly hope that you've been able to take some valuable things away from these videos. Thank you as always for watching, and we will catch you in the next.